Watching, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, of course, we have what's local to us, but a national race when it comes to the implications that we could see in Washington. Sherry Beasley still with a lead over Ted Budd. But we wanted to kind of go through some of the local races that we thought were kind of shoo-ins, and we're seeing it play out a little bit tonight, starting in the 4th District, where we see Durham and Valerie Foushee, who is running away with it tonight.
Yeah, as expected, lopsided race. I think most of the races, as we've said, the 13 is really the only true toss-up. Most of the rest of the race is just going to be blowouts like this one right here.
Same story in the 2nd District with Deborah Ross maintaining control there.
Yeah, Deborah Ross clearly returning to Congress, the incumbent in the newly drawn 2nd District there.
Well, we mentioned the 13th, which we've been talking about all night. Let's just take a quick look as we get a sense of what we're seeing here tonight. Again, 14% of the precincts reporting. You'll see that just above Travis's head there. Most of the votes you're seeing here are the early votes, and we know Democrats traditionally do pretty well with the early voting, but Wiley Nickel, a strong showing at this point in the evening.
Yeah, and look, I just don't know if it's going to hold. I don't want to get too far out over my skis here, but when I look at these numbers, they are better than I expected. We'll see. You know, that and a buck will get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to the 1st District here. This is another one that we were talking about early as an indicator to what it might be like for Republicans overall, not just in North Carolina, but across the country. This was G.K. Butterfield's district, a Democrat for many years. It leaned heavily Democrat, but it didn't look like it was going to be a slam dunk for them going into tonight, and it was going to be a pretty close race. Again, 14% of the precincts reporting right now. Most of what you're seeing here is early vote, but it looks like Dawn Davis has a substantial lead. Were you predicting something like this early on?
I didn't know what to expect in this race, I'll be honest with you. But I mean, y'all heard me maybe talk about how this was a 10-point Democratic district, meaning you would expect a Democrat to run 10 percentage points higher than a Republican. Look at that. That's closer to 20 than 10. Again, with just the early vote and then 14% of precincts on top of that reporting. So still miles to go. But yeah, I mean, it's looking good for Dawn Davis right there.
And guys, one district, you know, it's not necessarily a local one for us, District 11. Let's travel out there for just a moment because Chuck Edwards, you'll remember, is the candidate who beat Madison Cawthorn in the primary, which was a huge news story because of all the controversy surrounding Cawthorn. But here we see him, man, this is a tight race out there.
Yeah, Chuck Edwards, a state senator in this area, and more of a moderate might not be the right word, but more of an establishment Republican than Madison Cawthorn was, who was just the firebrand, you know, all sorts of scandals, Trump endorsed, et cetera, et cetera. But the Democrat in that race looking pretty good. Of course, Asheville is in. I see one candidate that's probably going to lean heavily, one county that's going to probably lean heavily Republican, not in yet. So that will sway things a bit.